If you're trying to lose weight, you have a tough choice. Do you want to be a little bit hungry every single day, or do you want to be extremely hungry for just 2 days a week? This is the debate between continuous calorie restriction and something like a 5-2 intermittent fasting diet. Today, I want to break down a study that I found interesting that tells us exactly which one burns more fat so you can stop guessing and start losing weight, or at least make a decision on what method you want to follow. Now, is starving for 2 days a week going to actually be better than just simply cutting calories a little bit every day? And that's something that most people do when people are on a calorie deficit, myself and my wife included. We are simply just cutting calories every single day. This 8-week randomized controlled trial essentially pitted the popular 5-2 intermittent fasting diet against your standard and often boring calorie restriction. And the results will actually surprise you. So let's get into this. First, let's take a look at the setup of the study. So the researchers took 20 women with obesity and split them into two groups. Now, both groups obviously had to cut their total weekly calories by exactly 25%. So you had two groups, Group A and then Group B. Group A did it the traditional, or what I like to say, the boring and slow method. They ate 1,500 calories every single day. So Group A, they ate 1,500 calories every single day. Now Group B did something a little bit different in that they used the 5-2 method. So the 5-2 methods means that they ate normally for 5 days, but they dropped to a very low calorie. Usually it's around 5 to 600 calories for 2 days of the week, maybe Monday through Friday. They were eating normally for those 5 days, and then maybe on Saturday and Sunday they were eating very low calories, which wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to me. If I was having low calories 2 days out of the week, I certainly would not want that to be on the weekend, and I don't think that's what most normal people would want to do. So now, this wasn't just about calories. To make sure that the weight loss came from quality food sources, both of those groups were instructed to follow a Mediterranean diet. This helped to rule out any junk food as a potential variable. So we are looking strictly at when they ate, not just what they ate. So who won? And it turns out nobody won. After 8 weeks, the results were almost the same. Both groups lost the same amount of body weight, and what's more important, in my opinion, is that they both saw equal reductions in dangerous visceral fat that's typically stored in the liver and the pancreas. But what about metabolic health? We hear a lot of influencers who are online, who are proponents of fasting, claim it can control insulin much better than simply a traditional calorie restriction. But in this study, the differences in fasting glucose and insulin levels trivial, meaning there wasn't really a big difference, right? So neither of the diets were clearly superior for controlling blood sugar, which, is a good thing. You can be on a calorie deficit in a traditional way, and you're still going to get the same benefits compared to someone who's doing a 5-2 method or any other form of intermittent fasting. So before we come to a final conclusion, we do have to look at some limitations. This was obviously a small study. It was only 20 people, and it also was in women. and it only lasted 8 weeks. This decreases the certainty of the study, so we need to take the results with a grain of salt. And here's the bottom line. The science suggests that a 5-2 diet is going to be effective, but it's not magic as a lot of fitness influencers, especially people that are proponents of intermittent fasting, make it out to be, that it's somehow better than a continuous restriction. It's just not true. It's not the case. People get so dogmatic about these things. You've got people that are proponents of intermittent fasting, and they will sell it to you, tell you that it's the best thing, that it's so much better than the traditional calories. And I don't buy that. I don't think it's true. And a lot of the stuff that I've looked at when it comes to studies and what key influencers mention, especially people that are heavily focused on studies, I'm talking like people like Peter Attia, people like Lane Norton, they all will tell you the same thing, that there really is no difference. And I believe in that. I don't think intermittent fasting is any better for you than regular calorie restriction. I think it really comes down to about the individual that's in front of you. So if you hate tracking calories every day, then maybe the 5-2 method is going to be a perfect fit for you. But if you find that the 5-2 method is like too restrictive, you're doing good for 5 days, and then the 2 days, even though you try really hard to be on that very low calorie of 500 or 600, you find it really difficult, then maybe the 5-2 method isn't going to work. But it also could come down to timing, meaning what are those 5 days that you're eating normally, and what are those 2 days that you are in a very low calorie. And you can play around with when you decide that you're going to be on a very low calorie. And that's the thing, you can't be dogmatic about this. It's what is going to work for you. And this is what is so hard in the health and fitness space, is a lot of people push what their ideal is, or they push the lifestyle that they live. And because they've seen results, whether it's with a carnivore diet or intermittent fasting or a ketogenic diet, they've seen results and they become attached to this idea, and then they want to spread the word about it, and they want to be the biggest proponent of it. And sometimes they become unrealistic in their views when it comes to pushing or promoting a certain type of diet. I hope that kind of makes sense. So if you hate having, for example, low energy days, then stick to the daily deficit. If you don't like that fluctuation where for 5 days you're getting the same amount of calories, and then for 2 days you really have to drop really low, 500 to 600 calories, and you just feel and notice that your energy plummets, and you can't do anything, and you can't get out of bed, and you can't poop, and you can't walk, and you can't play with your kids, and then maybe a 5-2 method isn't going to be perfect for you. I could say just for myself personally, if that has any relevance, I have 3 boys, and we're active on the weekend. We're active throughout the week, but they're home on the weekends. It's out of the routine, and we like to have fun with them, do fun things, eat out, things like that, or order in. So it's really hard for me, for example, to be on a very low calorie, 500 to 600 calories for Saturday and Sunday. It might work Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, but on the weekend, it definitely won't work. That's just an example. Again, I don't know what your particular situation is, but the best diet is simply the one that you can stick to long enough to see the results. And this is what I've noticed with working with clients, but also with myself, and all the stuff that I've seen in terms of the research and the evidence and the information about nutrition and fat loss, is that you really want to just find something that works best for you. If it's a ketogenic diet, then do it if you can stick with it. If it's a carnivore diet, then do it if you can stick with it. It's about whatever works for you and whatever is going to result in you being consistent. I know that's not sexy. It's not the sexy method, and that's not really what I promote. I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't really care what clients follow as long as they can find something that works for them and that they can stick with and be consistent with. That really is all that matters. I hope you found this helpful, and let me know in the comments, what do you do? Have you tried the 5-2 method? Has it worked? What are you a fan of? Do you just do the traditional boring calorie deficit on a daily basis? Do you do a carnivore diet? What has worked for you? Let me know. I would love to know and hear from you.